Did you hear that, sir? That was you saying on MSNBC.
¿Escuchó eso, señor? ¿Era usted diciendo en la MSNBC que no recuerda que el presidente jamás le haya pedido involucrarse con Jeff Sessions o el Departamento de Justicia de manera alguna? Eso no era verdad, ¿cierto?
That wasn't true, was it, sir?
I heard that.
Eso escuché.
Y no era verdad, ¿cierto?
I have no obligation to be honest with the
No tengo la obligación de ser honesto con los medios. Ellos son tan deshonestos como cualquiera.
So you're admitting, sir.
Entonces admite que no decía la verdad, ¿correcto?
My interview with Ari Melber.
Mi entrevista con Ari Melber
Sí.
puede ser interpretada de la manera que quiera.
Lewandowski testificó este martes. Fue uno de los gerentes de la campaña de Donald Trump, testificó ante el Congreso y reconoció que le mintió a los medios. Él había negado que el presidente Trump le pidiera llevarle un mensaje al entonces secretario de Justicia Jeff Sessions para que despidiera al fiscal investigador Mueller. Luego lo reconoció al equipo del fiscal investigador Mueller, pero también lo había revelado en un libro que escribió. A pesar de eso, ayer ante legisladores insistió en que no podía responder porque era información privilegiada que había revelado en entrevistas y en su propio libro. Y aunque la Casa Blanca le pidió no hablar del tema, habló. Confirmó que el presidente le encargó la tarea, él no la cumplió.
President Trump just opened a new front on his war with California, just announcing that he's revoking California's power to set its own vehicle emission standards. Here's part of the tweet that he put out just now. He says that he's making this move in order to produce far less expensive cars for the consumer, while at the same time making these cars substantially safer. And as you can see, there's a whole lot more there. That's what the president says, and you can be sure there will be many a fact check to follow on that. Up until now, California historically has been allowed to have stricter standards. So what happens now? Is this the end of it or just the beginning? CNN's Nick Watt is joining me now from Los Angeles with more. Nick, what are you hearing?
Well, Kate, California officials knew this was coming, so we got preemptive reaction from them last night. The Attorney General here said, President Trump, if you stand in our way, we will see you in court, and no doubt they will. And the governor said that this is all part of what he calls a political vendetta. Listen, President Trump, as you mentioned, fighting California, arguably the bluest state in the land. Also this kind of clash of political egos between President Trump and Gavin Newsom. The fact that the president tweeted this from his hotel room in Los Angeles, coincidence? Well, I'll leave that to others to make that call. But listen, here's the background. California has been able to set its own standards since 1970 because California's clean air emission standards predate any federal legislation brought in when Ronald Reagan was governor here. Now, the Trump administration has already said that they want to roll back some of the emission standards that President Obama introduced. And frankly, if California still has this right, then that could be toothless. So this is the opening salvo in what will be a long war.
Some fashion designers have come out with their sweatshirts, a line of them, based on school shooting attacks. This one says Sandy Hook. This is for New York Fashion Week. But here's the thing, Melissa, they also not only have the names of the schools, they have bullet holes. I'm sure people are offended.
Offended is one of the words that people are using to describe how they feel as their reactions to these sweatshirts, Robin. But the hoodies...
Yeah, we're waiting for the camera to get over there. But I wonder what the intent was with the designers. Did they say?
To raise awareness, that's one of the reasons that they created these. The hoodies are designed by a streetwear brand called Beastroy. They have the names of schools where mass shootings took place along with what looks like bullet holes. So you saw the one for Sandy Hook, and there's also shirts that say Columbine, Virginia Tech, and Stoneman Douglas. So many people died in those shootings, and as you might expect, the brand is facing a social media backlash. The designer says they were making a statement about gun violence, Robin, but a lot of the comments, of course, we can't show you here, are of outrage.
I bet. I wonder if they're going to still, I don't know if they intended to produce them. They weren't planning to sell them, is what I'm being told. So it was just for the New York Fashion Week and their particular show, it sounds like. Interesting.
When Laquana Ross went to see her father last week, she expected him to be in rough shape. He was dying of cancer, but she never imagined she would see this. Her father, Joel Marable, an Air Force veteran who served in Vietnam, had swollen hands and was covered in bites, hundreds of them.
If it didn't promote his body to die quicker, what is the protocol within the VA just to manage when something like this happens?
Marable had been staying at a nursing home in Atlanta run by the Department of Veterans Affairs. Ross says the room was infested with ants.
His room had ants, the ceiling, the walls, the beds, they were everywhere.
And crawling all over her father.
The staff member says to me, when we walked in here, we thought Mr. Marable was dead. We thought he wasn't even alive.
Ross says her father was moved to a new room, but died an hour later. Georgia Senator Johnny Isakson, who sits on the Veterans Affairs Committee, said he was shocked, horrified, and downright maddened by the conditions. The Atlanta VA said it has apologized to Marable's family and promised a top-to-bottom review to ensure it never happens again. The apology comes just as the VA faces a wrongful death lawsuit in a separate case in South Carolina after a Navy veteran died at a VA hospital in Columbia. According to the civil suit, 37-year-old Luke Smith was honorably discharged from the Navy after a mental illness diagnosis. In September 2017, surveillance footage shows Smith charging at another patient before hospital staff restrain him. The lawsuit says employees continually applied pressure to his neck and maintained their positions on him, which resulted in him being slowly asphyxiated. The coroner ruled the death a homicide, but criminal charges were never filed.
None, zero, zip, a homicide, and no one was charged. So who is accountable?
The Columbia VA healthcare system would not comment on this specific case, but says that its quality standards are among the highest in the country. Meanwhile, Laquana Ross says that she is glad that the VA here in Atlanta has promised to make changes. She's just not sure if any changes will be enough to heal the damage done in her mind. Scott McLean, CNN, Atlanta.